Hey guys, it's Still. Today we had a pretty exciting day. We got the Musa rework. In this video, I'm going to be talking about only the Awakening Musa changes, as I usually do with all the Musa content on my channel here. I only play Awakening Musa, so really the only relevant content to me that I'll be looking at. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So I streamed earlier. Some of you may have caught the stream. If you want to go back and watch it, you can check out my Twitch channel in the description here. I'll go over a lot of stuff, but there won't be as much actual in-game usage for a lot of the skills as I did in my live stream. But as things potentially get changed and tweaked in the future for this, I'll be sure to cover it and do more live streams about the changes in the future. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. About a month ago now, yeah, I think close to a month ago, I made a video regarding what I thought would be good changes to Musa, to the class for the kit. What I think they'd possibly change, what they wouldn't. And a lot of the stuff that I personally wanted to see change on the class actually got changed. So that was really good to see. A lot of things I wanted to see the class get. A lot of it was just small quality of life stuff, but it really stacks up and adds up. I think we're really going to see that once this goes live, so I'm pretty excited. So without further ado, I guess let's jump into things. First thing that I want to show you guys is we finally got real tier 3 add-ons. So this is something I talked about in the video I was just referring to. The video I made, I was talking about how we didn't have real tier 3 add-on options. So before, our options were retaliation, which was a 20-second cooldown. It was our Q block counter mechanic. You had that in Crust Crusher, which used to be a 17-second cooldown, now 12. And Nemesis Slash, which used to be a 20-second cooldown as well, which got completely reworked. It's a new skill. I believe it has a different name as well in the actual patch notes, but we'll see if that goes through. And it's now at 8-second cooldown, or 10-second cooldown, my bad. Just to show you guys, if we go to add-ons here, and I find Nemesis Slash, missing it here, here we go, Nemesis Slash. So tier 3 add-ons, I can take like 30 monster damage, 30% crit, 10 attack speed, whatever I want here. So you got a tier 3 add-on with a 10-second cooldown, which means you have uptime on it. It means whenever you use the skill, SC is the input for it. 10-second cooldown, whatever buffs I'm getting from that skill, I'll have for 10 seconds, and I'll be able to re-up on him as soon as it's off cooldown again. Really, really good. Along with Crust Crusher at 12 seconds. So pretty much permanent uptime on that as well. 2 tier 3 add-ons, you're going to be able to get good buffs from them. The damage on Nemesis Slash looks like it was significantly increased. I'm going to try not to alt-tab back into the patch notes too much. And just give you guys like my raw thoughts and initial reaction as I did in the live stream. I'll try my best to do that. But all that information will be provided in the description for you guys if you want the exact details. But I'm more so just go over things and give you like my first initial thoughts after messing around with stuff for I think 5 hours now or so. But yeah, 2 really good changes right off the bat. Another thing I talked about that I think would help our class a lot in both PvE and PvP that a lot of other classes have was an upkeepable AP buff. So on Musa Spirit, our Shift Q, they added a 20 AP buff for 10 seconds, and they reduced the cooldown to 9 seconds. That means we can keep it up all the time. You also don't have to hit a target. So I press Shift Q, I get 20 AP. Probably notice it had a different animation as well. I believe it has a larger AoE. It still hits 10 max targets, and it has a like a taunt and a pull for mobs. So I'm not really in a relevant spot where I can show you how good this is, but you're going to see some videos and some clips here probably hanging around if you're looking into a lot of Musa stuff of how it works at bigger places. Basically, I can Shift Q, it'll pull monsters in. Really good. I get 20 AP from it just from pressing Shift Q. It's something you can keep up all the time, so it's gonna be really nice. Immediately also, you probably noticed chase, the speed of my chase. So this is with 5 movement speed, 5 attack speed, this chase speed. So chase got a significant buff. movement buff. Another thing I wanted to see on the class, a lot of people wanted to see for sure, was a movement change. So I believe the stamina didn't change. However, the travel distance for forward chasing and awake, pre-awake, we still have the same old chase. As far as I can tell, I believe it's the same one, but in awake it is significantly bigger. Much larger travel distance, you go much further. And the animation speed is increased. So I'm not sure quite how to word this, but I think in some way this does also it definitely helps your engage speed and your disengage speed. As far as like getting rid of slows and stuff like that, we didn't get anything like that. I did think that would have been too crazy of a buff. But if you really think about it, like if you have more, if you're traveling further with each input, if you're debuffed, right, you're essentially getting more out of that skill as you would have in the past. So let's say I have a 30% or 50% debuff on me from a skill and I'm trying to get away with old chase. So we can just like take pre-awake, for example, like 3 dashes would take me this far from here. If I do 3 awake dashes, going further. So if we go like 1, 2, 3, I'm like at this pot. Go 3 again from awake. We go like 1, 2, 3. See, I'm almost like another dash away. So the new chase definitely gonna help us out. You're still gonna get some nasty debuffs on you and stuff, but it shouldn't be as bad. You have a lot quicker movement. You go a lot further and it's a lot more responsive. It's a lot faster. It feels really, really nice. Not much else to say about that. I just think it's a really good change. It's just it's a really good change. You're getting more stamina out of every chase you do too, so even though it didn't change the stamina, I mean, you're going further and faster every time you input chase. So we'll change to get. What else we have here? Probably just saw backflow had the little projection thing out of it. So they decided to integrate projection into a lot of our skills. And I guess we can address projection first. So projection change. This got changed from being the slow moving projectile with hits as it goes on in its duration to being a 100% unlock. Sorry about that. It's a really fast projectile now. So if I backchase projection, very far distance that it travels. At the same time, I can use extra credit on cooldown whenever it's up. Separate from projection, as you can see. I can just interchangeably use those. I'm going to BA here so I can show you some like attacks for some targets now that I already showed you the add-ons and stuff. But the projection change you gotta incorporate into a lot of our kit. So we have projections that come out of one step back, crosscut, and backflow. I believe that's all 3. Now projection no longer has a vacuum, but the extra damage, it's just like coming out of abilities, is a good change. Another thing I thought would be good if they'd like just slightly change numbers on a lot of our skills and give us the other things like the tier 3 add-ons. With the AP buff, like a lot of these small things, they're going to make a big difference as you keep compounding them. So I really think our class is going to be pretty damn clean in PvE. So if I show you again, if I like look at this target and say I'm aiming at him, the range is pretty insane too. So pretty much a max distance of where my cursor indicator is red here. So if I back up a bit, aim that at him, I'm going to hit the target. Same with my extra credit. Do the same thing. I'm going to hit the target from a very long distance. The animation is very hard to see. Like when I was first looking at the skill, I thought my opacity settings were maybe turned low, but that wasn't the case. Just sometimes it's hard to see. I'm not sure why. They might change that, not sure, but I like it. Really cool skill. We're going to talk about that later because there's a lot more to talk about with it. But let's check out some other things. We have counter assassination, so our Q. This is a very highly used skill on our class for a lot of things, for combos, 1v1 catches and whatnot. It lost its stun. However, it got a really big debuff. So you got an attack speed and cast speed minus 25% debuff for 10 seconds. And you still have the forward guard on counter. So you can, the application of the skill is exactly the same as it used to be. So you can still go in people's face, fish for crosscut Qs, and you're playing a debuff now instead of the stun. You have some more CC options, so You'll see those as we continue on here, but big debuff. Something I wanted to see and I talked about was that in a lot of our kit, we had super armors that provided nothing else, or we had skills that were super armor that provided nothing else besides the fact that they were super armor. So we had skills like crosscut, backflow, below the belt. All of those skills, your main super armor chain, it was just straight damage. All it was protected damage. It had no CCs and it had no debuffs. A lot of other new classes, something that they have is they had super armors or forward guards, like protected skills, right? That had debuffs or self buffs on them. So now, with a lot of these changes, we can apply debuffs and get self buffs while actively damaging and pursuing our target. So trading them, damage trading them. Really good change. Really good change. Good to see. They really thought about a lot in this kit. I think this was one of the most well thought out and executed reworks that they've done. I really got to give it to them. They really put a lot of thought into like addressing a lot of the different aspects of the class. Really cool to see. I was really surprised, honestly. A lot of really cool stuff. Twister. So Twister got a damage buff and a crit buff, I believe, and something else with it. So the damage, it doesn't lose any damage when it's used off cooldown. So you can spam Twister just as you did before, and it now just does just more damage, just raw damage. You can spam it off CD, and it has no downside. It doesn't lose damage, I'm pretty sure, from what I read in the patch notes. Another good buff, just more damage, spammable. Good to see. Spinner. Spinner got a pretty big rework. It was one of the skills, one of the few skills I recommended that if they were to address something or change it, I think Spinner would have been a good skill to do that on. I believe I said Spinner, Nemesis Slash, Backflow, and Blooming. I think were the 4 skills I said. And one step back, I think, yeah. And all of them got changed besides Blooming some way. So Spinner now is no longer, I believe it was like a stiff or something, like a bound or something on one of the last hits. I don't know, but on the second hit, or the first and second hit, I'm not sure which, it might just be the second, it has a stun. So it happens to be the same hit you get from the hidden animation from like Fiery Angel, like that. So there's going to be a lot of new combos where you're going to be integrating Fiery Angel with the Spinner Stab for stuns, most likely. Just from what I've been messing around with and seen. There's going to be a lot of cool things you can do. A lot of CCs got worked around in our kit, and with the new projection changes, the catches, going to be a lot of cool comboing you do, like a lot of freestyles. This class is... That's what I've always liked about this class, talk about it all the time. Endless options for CCing your target, endless options for comboing people when you catch them. You can really do whatever you want. I'm glad that that's staying with the kit, and it's something you can continue to do. And that our identity wasn't changed really completely. The rework. Projection, so another thing. So when you're up close, looks like it is a float when you're up close, so you still have the instant like back chase projection. Really fast, extremely fast skill. And the same thing with extra credit. If I use extra credit the same way. And at distance, it is a stiffness, so you're gonna have to follow up somehow. So if I like stiff this target with this, follow up with this, it's done. And then I can combo from there with our wide range of follow-up CCs. But yeah, you also notice Spinner no longer gives us 10% attack speed. So you're no longer using this for attack speed. Instead, we get critical rate. So you can get that from all of the same ways you got the attack speed. Nothing changed. You can stay in Awake now and get 30% crit. And you may be wondering, well, we just lost 10% attack speed. Where is that at? They threw that on the crosscut. So now you have another core super armor skill, which got a damage buff, an AoE buff, and a self buff. So, another great change. It also shoots a little projection out of it. It does more damage. Looks like summon damage is equal to that of projections times 11 with 50% accuracy, 100% crit rate for PvE, air attack, down attack. So more damage, self buff. You can get more of your buffs out of Awakening now. So something I addressed in my videos, I thought it'd be a good change if we could incorporate more of our buffs into skills that are used more often so that we don't have to spend time in the backfield before we engage. buffing up. So doing like blind thrust into rising storm into C swap into like whatever you did for your spinner buff, right? To get all your buffs up. Now you can if you wanted to, you can just stay in awake. So we can stay in awake. I can get my attack speed buff like from crosscut, right? We can do spinner input, any kind of spinner input, get crit. I could do shift Q, I get AP, and I'm in awake the whole time. And for some of these skills, I mean, you can do it as you're, you know, chasing towards your opponent, fighting your opponent. So it's really cool. Really good changes with those things. Dash slash. Just make sure I didn't miss anything here. Spinner, crit, you get the point. Stun, probably actual usable skill now for some of the spinner cancels that we have in Awake. Crosscut, just got the projection damage on it, attack speed, yada yada. Dash slash here. So dash slash lost the super armor. So it did have an SA on it before. It was one they added like sometime mid last year, I believe. And it had a gap in it, I believe, during like the attack animation, which made it in my own opinion, there really wasn't ever a reason for them to add the super armor onto it. You use the skill the same way, regardless if it was protected, because it was very fast. It's a pretty like sporadic skill. Like it's really random. Like when someone uses the dash slash, I feel like, at least when I use it too. Really good opener because of the minus DP. And it's now a knockdown. So we have another knockdown on our kit. You got knockdown, down smash, and they buffed the minus DP. So it was 15, it's 20 now. So you can apply a minus 20 debuff. And it's a KD. So changes up a lot of combos. A lot of new things you can do with that. A lot of new follow-ups you can do with dash slash now. I believe it got a extra hit or something. Look at the patch note. Dash slash. Yeah, it got additional hit damage. And oh, the cooldown was reduced. So it reduced from 8 seconds to 5. So it's up pretty much all the time. So that's pretty cool. Also got an attack range increase. Just another good raw buff. Fire crevice. It got a buff and a change to it. So you notice it's not a bound anymore. It's another knockdown. So we got another knockdown. And it got a damage buff. It's really strong. On sheet, it looks like it is stronger than Crust Crusher. So very strong. However, you can't spam it anymore. So I'm inputting QF here, or even just F. Can't do it. Can't use this skill anymore on cooldown. But they kind of counteracted that change by giving you another spammable in Twister. So you can spam Twister more now that it has no damage, no reduced damage when used on off CD. You can use Twister more instead of Fire Crevice. Instead of Fire Crevice, the upside of it not being able to use CD, you can't use it on CD. It just has more upfront damage. It's more front loaded. So 6 second cooldown, more damage, AD. I'm assuming the bond you'll probably want to run in every situation once this comes live. If it comes as is probably Fiery Crevice. I could see some applications for using projection super armor still. And everything else, I don't think you take BTB. Spinner forward guard would give you a stun on forward guard now on the pokes. Not really sure how good that would be. Maybe for like some 1v1 things. But you probably just want to take Fiery Crevice Bond, I'm assuming, for most changes here. Backflow. So backflow got changed. I don't know if the cooldown got changed or anything. I feel like it did. But it also has, you notice, the same little projection buff that every other skill got. And we can use it without having to blow one of our super armors now. So, or when you use backflow, you had a few options. So you have the hidden animation from Crust Crusher you could use, which no one ever used. You could do it out of Fiery Angel Linger like this. You can still do it, but now it has the projection shot. And it's still super armored linger. You could do it after crosscut like this. And you could do it after below the belt chain. So you can now just input it with right or left movement, R&B. You can go into backflow. Really cool change. Just have another standalone super armor, which has its own input. They added air attack to it, I also believe. I don't think that used to be there. And it has the extra damage of the little projection coming out of it. You can compound that with like all the other ones you get from your other skills. As I mentioned, One Step Back has one now too, as well as the increased range on One Step Back. We'll get to that shortly. So just have a lot of really cool changes, like a lot of cool quality of life stuff, more damage out of all of your skills, a lot of small little buffs that I think are going to make a big impact in the grander scheme of things here. Eradicate stayed the same, I believe. I think they changed an input or something. Projection, we talked about that. Extra credit, talked about that. Crusher. So Crusher here is it's a down smash now. So the KD is only in PvE. If you want to get the KD now, you have to take the bond. You may be wondering, well, the old bond was forward guard, which was supposed to fix the forward guard on Crusher. They instead swapped that around. So if you want to take the KD on Crusher, you can, and you're gonna have a fully protected frontal guard now with Crusher. I test this over and over. And the transition from Crusher into foul play seems completely protected forward guard, no gap. I didn't get CC'd a single time in my testing. I did it like, I don't know, a few minutes straight with a couple different classes that were in BA with me, some of my friends, and seems to be fully functioning. Now you will get CC'd if you just stick to your Crusher. I think it's like when you take your pole arm, when you're about to lift the pole arm out of the ground after the slam animation, so like right about here, right about like there at the end, you can be CC'd. So you have to decide if you want to back chase out of it. They increase the fluidity of that, so you can chase out of it quicker now if you don't want to commit to the foul play. So on Crusher, I can come out. It's a little bit smoother now, I believe. And I'll do it one more time here. Show you the full thing. Follows your camera now too. You don't need to mouse move it. Really big change. I believe foul play does the same. Do it one more time just to make sure. You may need to like turn off your what do you call it, like your auto aim settings and stuff to get that to work completely. Yeah, it'll follow your camera, so your foul play will go to your end target camera location. So cool changes, man. We have the debuff on Crusher still. Damage, I don't know if we got a damage increase. Look around here. The attack range got increased. The KD's PvE only, we talked about that. Forward guard has been changed, so it's maintained until the hit connects. So like until you're about to pull the pole arm out of the ground. Or if you choose to flow into foul play, then your full chain will be forward guard. Cooldown change from 17 to 12. We talked about that in the beginning. So from 17 to 12, you have a shorter CD, which means you can keep up a tier 3 add-on a lot easier. Really good change. And the character rotates according to the camera direction before the attack is applied. Another great change. Bit improved, so Link would chase immediately after the attack, and down smash added. So down smash added, no longer KD unless you choose the bond to do so. A lot more options, a lot of combos, a lot of new things you can do. Really cool to see. I'm excited. It's like a lot of new stuff to do in the class. Foul play is going to be your same thing here. Same skill. Below the belt, I think below the belt got another hit and damage increase or something. Here, below the belt. Highlight here, below the belt. Change as follows. Attack range has been increased. Critical hit rate has been applied in all hits. So instead of the critical hit rate, I believe it was 100% rate on the extra hits. It's on all hits now. I believe it was only on the extra hits before. But you get attack range increase and 100% crit. So we'll change. One step back. The skill got significantly changed. So it has no stamina use, even on CD. I think they're going to nerf it by the time this goes live, because I'm going to show you something. So if you do OSB backwards, right, one step back, you see how I move quite a significant distance here. And it is super armor. You're also going to notice they added a 50% movement speed debuff. So another really strong trading skill. So you have a forward guard, attack speed, cast speed debuff, and you have a super armor. I believe the super armor during the end of the attack animation is unsafe, from what I've been hearing from people and reading. But yeah, 50% movement speed debuff for 10 seconds, and it's a 5-second cooldown skill, super armor. Slight gap. So something a lot of people asked for that would have been cool is like backstep slash being super armor. It's something that the this concession kit has. They have super armor minus 50% movement speed debuff. You got the same thing, but in your awake kit on OSB. Now, the movement thing I wanted to show you that I think they're going to change, because people will probably like do this. You can one step back, and you can cancel the delayed chase input that I'm doing here. You kind of just let the animation go, and then you just chase out of it. You can pretty much do this forever, as long as you have WP. Definitely think they're going to nerf that, because you can infinitely do that for the most part. It's a lot of movement speed with no downside. So I think you're probably going to see like stamina on this. More so when it's on CD. I think you're probably going to see that. They're probably going to change that. Because I think that is a bit much, not going to lie. Fiery Angel. Fiery Angel's now super armor, however we lost the CC. So we got the super armor Fiery Angel on the attack. And you can linger the attack a little bit until you start drawing your Crescent Blade down. So as soon as I'm about to like bring it over my head again, right here, it's unsafe. So protected movement. It also has no unit collision. This is huge. Huge for engaging and disengaging. No unit collision. So I can fly through enemies. I can go right through these people. Just went right through both of those two guys there. Phased right through them. Really, really good change. All the other inputs with Fire Angel, exactly the same. So, gonna be really, really cool to use. Losing the float on it is fine. It's expected for what they gave it. They gave it no unit collision and a super armor. So it's cool. I'll take that trade off. Nemesis Slash. Nemesis Slash was completely changed. Got a bunch of damage. Crit rate. Still has the HP recuv on it. Still well, it's a down smash now. I don't know if it was previously, but it is now from looking at it. I never used the skill, so not too familiar with how it even worked before, because it was pretty bad skill. It's pretty useless. Now you can input with SE like this. It does looks like it's going to do quite a lot of damage. Pretty similar to Crust Crusher's damage. Pretty similar. 10 targets can be used after a few skills, like below the belt like that. Comes out decently quick. Still a little bit slow, but I think it's quick enough that it's going to be, you're probably going to use it all the time, from what I can tell. As people mess around with more things, it might come out faster from other skills, but good change. Looks like you're probably going to use the skill. I think that about covers everything in Awakening for the most part that you would want to hear about. E-buff, we still have the same E-buff, which kind of expect that. I don't really think they were going to change it, honestly. Not something I asked for either. Something I brought up, but didn't ask for it personally in like the video that I made or whatever. Yeah, a lot of good changes for Awake. A lot of them, like, you can probably, from what I'm just imagining, I think for the most part in PvE, you can just stay, like, you can just stay in Awake for everything you're doing. There's no reason to go into pre-Awake for anything. There's no buffs you need to get out of pre-Awake unless, like, for some reason you feel you need 20 DP, which you probably don't. You can just stay in Awake and just spam buttons, spam all your skills, use everything. Like, your entire kit is usable. Like, every skill here is usable. It's a good skill now. Everything your kit has to offer is usable. All of these skills can be really cool. Skill enhancements, we got no changes here. No changes to these three, like the main ones you'd use, like Ultimate Musa Spirit. You can still get a crit rate buff from that and Magic DP, however it's going to put you in pre-Wake. Quick Shot remain the same. Storm Slash is what I take, just as filler. Probably not going to use it anymore after these changes if they go through as is, because your Awake kit is just going to be much better than what that skill has to offer, I'm assuming. Pre-awake changes. There was a few pre-awake changes. One major one at the end, once we get to the bottom. Yeah, the Nemesis Slash one. Whirlwind Cut. So this has been changed. Before, the minus DP would only apply with the Cyclone hit. However, if you unlock this now, and you use the, basically just like holding, I'm holding D, L, and B, or A, L, and B, you'll apply a minus DP to the target. I think I need to hit one of these for you to see the buff. D minus DP just from doing that. However, you're gonna want to lock this still because it opens up something you can do. I'm about to show you here. Anyways, dash slash DP debuff is gonna be greater anyways. It's gonna be minus 20. So if you lock this and we do A or D side movement, right, with LMB, A or D with LMB, I'm gonna go into crosscut from pre-wake. So I'll show you that again. Just like that. Doesn't matter if it's on CD, you're gonna go into awake with it. So you still have all your forward guard interactions that are lingers. So like I can go back into pre-wake, linger a sec, and then go into super armor awake, and then I can like go back into pre-wake and stuff. So really cool things you can do with that. It's gonna open up a lot of stuff, being able to go straight into crosscut like that. Because in some combos before, you would use dash slash from pre-wake from the hotbar, but it used to be a down smash, right? Dash slash used to be a down smash. Now that it's a KD, you're probably going to rethink using it a lot of time from pre-wake because it's going to change your combos up differently from that going from a KD to a down smash, or from a down smash to a KD. What else do we have going on here? I think all of this remained the same. The stub arrow changes. So this is probably the most controversial thing that got changed that people were unhappy about or uncertain about. I didn't care as much because I'll tell you why in a bit, but stub arrow and so triple shot got removed. They added some kind of mechanic now where if you want to instantly backstep stub arrow, you cannot do that. Instead, you have to draw an arrow from a quiver. So if you saw, I just put my hand over my back and now I have this little buff on my screen, this little arrow thing. And it granted me an arrow. So with this arrow, with this ticking down time, I can choose to use my arrow how I want. So I can use a charge shot. This is the new charge shot, by the way. The actual charge up shot, which shows like a piercing projectile animation going through the target. If I want to do that again, I can't shoot any other arrows until I draw another one from my quiver when stub arrow's off CD. So I immediately just drew that one and shot it. Kind of awkward to use. It's like really weird to use. It doesn't feel good at all to use any of these arrows, being real with you. So if I draw this arrow and I want a quick backstep stub, I can. I just have to continue to hold the arrow and I can use it. So you have to be a lot more mindful of your stub arrow cooldown CD and your arrow buff management because you have a timed window now of when you can use that arrow. I think they added something with a double shot now, so if you choose to use double shot, you can fire 2 stubs in a row. I don't know if it like means you can queue 2 arrows, so like you have 2 arrows to use if you commit to a double shot, which you're probably never going to want to do anyways. You're probably just going to have to use stub arrow like that now. And the charge shot, so our evasive shot got changed around quite a lot here. So all those inputs that I used to show in my guides for long range 1v1 catches, where you could cancel like your stub arrows on CD, you still had access to charge stub arrow, so you could like cancel the stub arrow, charge stub arrow by doing an evasive shot cancel into charge stub, or doing an iframe roll. You can't do that anymore. So evasive shot was changed by charge stub arrow has been removed, and it basically got, well, the evasion part got removed and merged with stub arrow evasive shot. So side movement, so A R&B, D R&B. This used to be, the skill used to just have just damage on it, so it just said like it did like 2 hits, X number of hits, and X damage, and had no CC. So you just used it for the quick little movement cancel it gave you for going into your charged arrow. cancel, which would apply stiffness. General one I'm referring to, it's like really complicated like chain of little like arrow commands you did just to get another arrow shot when your stub was on CD, but it's in my guides from before. But it's not gonna be a thing anymore, so if this comes out as is, you're not gonna have to worry about all that. But yeah, basically now what you need to know, if you want a stub arrow, you gotta pull an arrow out of your quiver like that and then cast it, and then you have to wait the whole CD. I have no arrows until I wait that entire stub arrow CD. That's all you really need to know with all that. But all the other combos and cancels associated with that got removed. Arrow grapple got changed. They added this so that it's a stun and it has a few more interactions and stuff. Damage has been adjusted too, and there's like some cool things you can do out of kicks. So I'll just show you the arrow first. So if I draw an arrow and then I shoot this and press space, I'll grapple in and I'll do a stun attack, and then you can like combo however you want. So I didn't want to Dragon Bite 100 there, but it's not locked, so I'll show you again. Wait for the CD here, grab an arrow, take the arrow out the quiver, so I back chase stub, space, then I input with like blind slash or something, or follow up with another CC. Like, there's things you can do with it. I still don't know how usable it's going to be, because it is unsafe, right? And the stub arrow is such a quick CC, like you're going to have to visually be aware. You're going to have to be really keen on your paying attention to be able to be like, all right, my stub landed, I'm going to commit with spacebar, arrow grapple, and go in. And go for the stun. Could be, you could get resisted, get knocked on your ass. Like, you can get punished because it's unsafe. But some of the kick stuff you can do with it. So I can do like I believe I have a roundhouse kick. Yeah, so roundhouse kick. The KD one. So I can input roundhouse kick and then press space, and I will do the arrow grapple animation, and it'll still stun without me having to use an arrow. So you could like miss a kick and then just hop another direction into the arrow grapple. I'll try right now. I'm just coming up with this on the fly. Yeah, you can. So you can just completely like whiff kicks and go into arrow grapple. There might be a kick that's faster than roundhouse kick, or you can just get some kind of quick cool CC out of it somehow with that. I actually did BT there. I think it's because I put it wrong. Try again. Forward kick, space. Yeah, so some cool things you can do with that. Not sure how viable it's going to be, but definitely some cool style stuff with that for sure. Blooming got no change for Awakening kit. Still the same skill. Probably just going to take level 1 blooming. That's what I usually take. I prefer that because it is faster and gives me a stun that I can move out of quicker. Tiger Blade, no change. None of her passive change. They're all the same. So I'm not even mad they didn't change any of these, honestly. It would have been cool to get like an evasion scaling on the chase or as a passive, like a rework from the melee evasion, which isn't that good. But I'm not mad. In the video that I made, I said if they were to change anything to passives, I think it'd be pretty small changes that wouldn't have as big as effect as a lot of other things they could have done. So I think you're seeing that right now, what you're seeing. So we've got a lot of other changes that I think are going to be a lot larger than getting like maybe 6% evasion as a passive or something else, whatever else they could have done. Everything else is the same though, as far as that goes. Don't really know if I'm missing anything here. A lot of cool stuff, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's a lot of cool stuff to look forward to. I'm definitely looking forward to playing this class again. So probably tomorrow I'm gonna start like messing around with combos and stuff, just trying stuff out just because I'm excited to play it. Looking to read what other people discovered. There's definitely going to be some more things to discover and figure out with the kit, so people will be sharing that in like the Musa Discord and maybe in the like YouTube comments if you guys have some cool stuff to share, your thoughts. I'll be excited to read those, and I'll try to reply to any questions you may have. I will link some relevant documents in the description. You guys can check those out if you want to read up on the patch notes for yourself, the fully translated ones. You can check those out. Other than that, I think I just about covered everything. I'll probably leave a comment for the feedback Discord, for the feedback channel within the Discord that gets like submitted to GMs or devs or something. I'm not really sure, but overall, we got a lot of quality of life buffs. I think a lot of stuff that we needed. Upkeepable AP buffs, upkeepable tier 3 add-ons, buffing downtime and the way in which you buff up was changed. Stuff's really cool. The arrows, the arrow change is pretty weird, but I think they kept like the style of that, like having the really quick CCs. They definitely kept the style of that with like the projection stuff. Like I feel like the projection and the extra credit change is just them like literally addressing that. That's what it feels like to me. You still have the really quick CCs in both of those skills, pretty much on demand. You have follow-up still with them. Like personally, I think I'm gonna like messing around with projection and extra credit more than I would holding my Q block and pre-wake, fishing for a stub arrow. But if they were to keep all the old arrows with the new projection catches, I think it'd be pretty oppressive. I don't see them reverting the arrow changes, honestly. A lot of people are asking for it, but I really don't see that happening. I think that just about covers everything I wanted to talk about. Give you guys a pretty good idea of what you have looking forward to so far whenever this gets dropped. When is this getting dropped? And if someone's gonna ask, I do not know. So I think once they finish it up, they'll give us like a rough date, rough estimate or something. But we got a lot of quality of life changes. They addressed a lot of aspects of the class. PvE, PvP, our movement was addressed. Our debuffs were addressed. We can debuff people now. Not only can we can debuff while we're also attacking. So we don't have to be on the back foot as much. We can be more aggressive while also self-buffing ourselves. We have like crit and attack speed on Awake now in different forms. We have debuffs on some skills that we're also protected in. We can trade with, do damage with. Just a lot of good stuff to look forward to, guys. I think you're really gonna like these changes. If you don't have a Global Labs account, just keep checking out what people are putting out as far as content goes for the changes. These changes aren't final, so any of the stuff they can change as they've said and done before with some of the other classes. I do think they're gonna tweak things. But overall, the rework changed a lot of stuff. The most in-depth rework I think we've seen. Addressed a lot of stuff with the class. And a lot of it was just extremely positive. Like I really have nothing bad to say about it, really. The arrow stuff is weird, but I do think playing around with things, you can, I mean, you can still insta-stub. The only downside is you have to draw that arrow, so from distance and whatnot, but definitely going to feel different to not have that in the kit, but a lot of new stuff to try and get used to. Overall, the aesthetic of the class, the feel of the class feels exactly the same. Really fast class that's good at just doing a lot of stuff, like being in someone's face, poking around really fast, looking for CCs, being real stylish in how you choose to combo people, how you choose to finish people, catch them. Like the whole feel of Musa feels exactly the same to me. It's just amplified. A lot of new stuff to do, really cool. But yeah, hope you guys found this video to be useful. If you want to follow my Twitch channel, it's in the description. My Discord as well. And I'll try to keep you guys updated with anything I hear about this stuff. So hope you guys are excited about it as I am. And you know, thanks for watching. If you have any feedback or questions, leave it in the comments. And I'll catch you guys another time. Thanks for watching.